I am a transformation coach, and what I do is I help people just like you go from a pressure filled life to a pleasurable one where you can hold more, but feel like you're carrying less with more ease, where you have sustainable inner peace and joy, self awareness, self confidence, self love, all of those wonderful things. I am here to help you live your best, most aligned, most expansive life. And the way we do that is by tapping into you, by getting to deeply and completely know, like, and trust yourself. I do that mainly with human design, but also through all of the different coaching certifications that I have a gazillion of. And then we use NLP, subconscious reprogramming. Once we've discovered like what your stories, your blocks, what's in your way, then we reprogram your subconscious to allow you to live in a place of expansiveness, of joy, and of peace. It's pretty exciting. I host retreats all over the world. We just got back from Costa Rica. I have an amazing once a month program called the Glimmer Lab, which is all about creating sustainable peace and expansive joy. It's we do a somatic drop in, journaling, a guided hypnosis, and then a reflection check in. It is beautiful. It's not about fixing or changing. It's just about being with yourself, recalibrating, realigning, and reconnecting with yourself. So I'm really glad to be able to share space with you today. And I love today's. I should have worn my sweatshirt. That's so funny. I didn't even think about that this morning. But today we're talking about visibility without the performance. And I think that feels really tricky. I think it feels really tricky because we live in this fast paced, short attention span, social media focused world where the appearance is often not really the reality. It's not often the truth of what is behind the thing that we're seeing or that we think we're experiencing. And it's really important to recognize that. And it's very easy, I think, to get into that trap, of feeling like um, if you don't perform a certain way, that you're not good enough or you're not worthy. So, how can you be visible and take up a lot of space without performing? And it's funny because this whole thing was prompted to me. It came to me because I have this sweatshirt that I love that I got off of the TikTok shop that's bright blue and it says exist loudly. Exist loudly. And I immediately fell in love with that sweatshirt because I definitely exist loudly. Like I choose to exist loudly. And I joke, anybody who comes into my sphere, into my circle, if you like lesbians, curse words, and exclamation points, then we're going to probably get along fine. But now we have to add in that you have to actually like, justice and human kindness and support humanity. But that aside, like I am me. I am loud. I am bold. I am sassy. Um, I don't pull any punches. I don't really bullshit, but I do hold tender, loving space. So when I'm working with clients, like I come at it hard. I call out the hard facts and the hard truths, but then I also will give you a hug and give you lots of tender compassion to tell you what a good fucking job you did showing up for yourself because it is hard to do. So I love existing loudly. I am proud of existing loudly. It's a heartbeat for me. It's about being authentic. It's about being myself. And I love helping women and queer folks take up every inch of the space that they are here to occupy in the world and trusting themselves to do so. But there's something really important that you need to keep in mind, and that's that existing loudly doesn't mean that you have to be in front of the room all of the time. It doesn't mean that you have to take up um, your own precious time and energy all of the time to be valuable. It doesn't mean that you have to be front and center every second. You can exist loudly and step back sometimes. You can exist loudly and go slow. You can exist loudly and rest. You can exist loudly and say no, right? You have that autonomy. So there's an art to it, right? Of showing up without giving yourself away in the process. And here are just some of the ways that I want to help you step into a state of being, where existing loudly is a state of being. It's an energetic space and not a performance. So when you're super aligned in this, your presence is felt whether you're shouting from the stage or you're sitting in quiet reflection. You make an impact. And you know that you make an impact because you can tell by the way people respond to you and engage with you and interact with you. So, first and foremost, it's about trusting that stillness, knowing that you don't have to do something to prove that you exist. You just have to exist in your most wonderful wild self and trust that that is enough. And sometimes the loudest thing you can do is sit in your own skin and be completely and quietly okay with yourself. Other people don't have to know, they don't have to accept, they don't have to understand. You do. You have to know you, you have to accept you, and you have to understand you. And when you make that choice, everything around you starts to shift. Remember, I say this every week, you can't change or control anyone but yourself. But when you change yourself, the people around you change, and it is magical. Remember to move at your own pace. Speed is not a requirement for impact. In fact, slow and steady, right, wins the race. The Harrison, the tortoise and the hare. That one was hard for me to get, right? Speed is not the answer, and often when we're really going quickly, we are often making mistakes. I know for me that's 100% the truth. Anytime I rush through something, it is riddled with errors. Now, I have learned that sometimes I get excited and I rush, and then I don't really apologize. I go back and I fix what I can. I always joke, I'm a queen of typos. Love me, love my typos. That usually comes from rushing, so full transparency. But we don't always win the race when we do that. Um and we are far more impactful when we're thoughtful and intentional and we take the time to pause and be reflective, right? So be deliberate, be intentional, and that will help you be a powerful person in whatever room you're choosing to give the gift of your presence to. It's time to ditch all of those shoulds for the results that you think you've been told you're supposed to have. Stop doing it just because you feel like you should. An old friend of mine used to say, stop shoulding all over yourself, right? When you think, oh, I should do this, what I really want you to do is pause and say, why? Why should I? What's the motivation behind that? So if you can talk yourself into, I want to do this because I want this result, then that's awesome. But if you can't find a reason you want to do that, the should, maybe just ditch it. Like it's not for you, and that's totally fine. If an action doesn't feel good in the moment, you can check in with those results. If you want the results, then find a way to do it from a place of desire rather than obligation. And maybe that means you need to shift the format, shift the platform, ask for help, change the timeline, renegotiate something about it. Or again, maybe it just means you need to let it the fuck go. Also, it's okay to keep your energy for yourself. You are allowed to be visible without being available all the time. You can share your brilliance and still keep your inner world private and protected. And the really interesting example of this for me was at my Costa Rica retreat that I hosted just a few weeks ago. It was amazing and I loved it. And I loved the people I was there with. And I was super available to them pretty much from 8 to 8 all day, but I did have some pockets of time just for myself, and before 8 in the morning was off limits, and after 8 in the evening was off limits, and I protected that space. I was available, but I also needed to prioritize my own privacy and my own private time, and honestly, as a projector, 8 to 8 was a lot for me. It was a lot. I had to come back and really spend a lot of time being slow, being still, nurturing myself, letting myself rest. So it's really important to know what that looks like for you. For every single person, it's going to be different. For a generator, it's going to look different than it does for a manifestor or a projector. Um, you really want to know these things about yourself. If you are hearing this and you don't know what your human design is and you're curious and you want to know, go to my website, find the link in my bio, go to my website, pull your free human design chart off of my website, and then you can explore it on your own, or if you want to do a reading with me, there are options to do that as well. Human design is amazing. It is a modern scientific self-discovery system based on several different ancient sciences and philosophies: the Chinese I Ching, Kabbalah, Buddhism, quantum physics, the chakra system, and astrology. And it is all about living into your highest, most aligned self. It's all about expanding yourself. There's nothing to change or fix, which is so beautiful and powerful and empowering and validating. And I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. So if you're curious about human design, definitely go and check that out. Here's the thing. I want you to build a reservoir for yourself. There's so much power in that. Yes, you can exist loudly. Yes, you can be super visible. Sometimes, excuse me, making a drink of water. Sometimes you will want to be in the front of the stage, maybe, perhaps, if that's you. And sometimes you'll want to be in back of the house or the back of the room. That's okay. And all of the spaces in between. But the beauty of choosing um, yourself and success with ease, and I call this the ease pathway. This is how I help people just like you go from pressure filled lives to pleasurable ones with the ease pathway. It's that you stop leaking energy because you're so much more intentional and aware of who you are, how you are, what you are, and who you want to be in the world, how you want to be in the world, how you want to feel about all of this, right? So when you prioritize your own rest, you're regulating your nervous system, caring for yourself, all of that, you are not shrinking, right? When you're sacrificing yourself all the time or when you're pushing yourself to perform all of the time, you look big, but you're actually shrinking on the inside. And nobody really wants that, right? So when you're practicing the ease pathway, this is how you build a reservoir for yourself. Easy for me to say. You're trusting that when the moment actually calls for you to be front and center, you will have the energy, the skill, the awareness, the desire to do so. Not because you performed your way there, but because you've been honoring yourself all along and you are primed and ready. Alignment is what makes existing loudly sustainable. The ease pathway helps you align. Ease is an acronym. E, so for explore, get to know yourself, your dreams, your desires, who you are as a person. We use human design for that. A is alignment. So, what does alignment look like and feel like? Learning to discover that inside yourself, inside your body. S is simplify, sustain, simplify, shift, and sustain. Sorry. I need more food today. Simplify, shift, and sustain, right? So, what do you need to shift? What do you need to shift and change? And then, how can you maintain this? And then the last E is embodied expansion. Embodied expansion, not just expansion, not just growth, but embodied. So you can actually carry more and feel like you're holding less, which is a power fucking play, right? We do that. So if you're curious to know more about the ease pathway or where you might be on the ease pathway, you can take an ease assessment quiz. That's super easy. I have that available. Again, go to the link in my bio, find the ease pathway assessment. It's amazing. It really is game changing. And then see how you can go up and support yourself, right? Because remember what I just said, alignment is what makes existing loudly sustainable. And you have this big, beautiful, vibrant life. And I want you to live every moment of it to the best of your ability. You don't really need another strategy, folks. You just need a place to land, to see yourself, to love yourself, to accept yourself, and to shift from the inside out so that you can be who you most desire being, to have the things you most desire having. It's one of the reasons that I created the Glimmer Lab, which we had our first, it's a monthly live virtual container with somatic drop in, journal reflection. I guide you through hypnosis, a short hypnosis session, and then reflection. And it is all about creating time once a month just for you to love yourself, to support yourself, to realign, recalibrate, reassess, and lean into the most wonderful ways to sustain your inner peace and to be expansive and joyful, right? This isn't about necessarily working on yourself. It's just about loving yourself and finding those glimmers and just really leaning in to all of the ways that you can live your best, most aligned life without performance, without hustle, without stress. So I want you to think about this for a second. I want you to think about where in your life you're currently performing your existence instead of just inhabiting yourself. And what would change if you gave yourself permission to just stop, just be still, be inside yourself, and trust that being your most aware, aligned self is what will attract other people to you rather than performing for other people. All right. So I am good. I like to close out. We're going to have a short session today, which is totally fine. And I like to close out by doing a guided EFT tapping. So for those of you who are new, or watching the replay, I am certified. I'm a board accredited certified NLP practitioner, neuro linguistic programming. So that's hypnosis, EFT tapping, time techniques, a bunch of other tools and resources for subconscious reprogramming. EFT tapping is amazing. It's emotional freedom technique. It's where we release negative so we can repattern in the things that we most desire. And as we're tapping on all of these different meridian points in our body, and you're actually shifting yourself neurologically. I love tapping. You can tap on big things. You can tap on little things. Even if you just tap and repeat after yourself, I am safe, I am safe, I am safe, or I deeply love myself, or I accept myself, it'll shift you out of one way of being and into another. So it's a power play. If you're finding yourself stressed or anxious, or you're going into a meeting maybe and you're nervous about it, this is a great way to just recalibrate yourself. But today we're tapping about existing loudly without the performance. And first, I want you to take a moment and sit up and put your feet firmly on the ground and just arrive. Just be here. Feel your feet making contact with the floor and notice the support of the chair beneath you. Wiggle around, feel your bottom and your sits bone like supported by the chair. You aren't responsible for anything in this exact moment. There's nowhere else that you need to be and nothing that you need to fix. Just let yourself be held in the space that you're in at this moment. And I want you to take all of those thoughts and things and to-do lists and worries and everything that you had right before now and imagine yourself gathering them all into a little box. Just throw them all into the box and then close the box. Put a lid on the box and see yourself or hear yourself or feel yourself, whatever works best for you, taking that box and setting it to the side. You can pick it back up later if you want to, but you don't need it right now. And once you've done that, I want you to take a big deep breath in through your nose and out with a sigh. Put your left hand over your heart and your right hand over your left and repeat after me, either out loud or in your mind. Thank you. I'm sorry. I forgive you. I love you. And now we're going to transition into tapping. And you can tap along with me and then repeat either out loud or in your mind. We start on the karate chop point. You can do one hand or the other, it doesn't matter. Even though I've often felt like I have to perform, I know that I don't because I deeply and completely love, honor, and accept myself. Even though I have felt like I have to prove that I'm here and valuable by being on all the time, I'm willing to let that go because I know it's not true. I'm open to the idea that my presence is enough. I allow myself to know that it's okay to take up space without having to earn it. I am safe in this body right now. Moving to the inner eye, one side or the other, or both. All this pressure to be visible. This old story that if I'm not doing something out loud, I might disappear. I recognize this need to perform as a way to stay safe, but I no longer need it. I'm tired of leaking my energy. Outer eyebrow. I've been treating my energy like a public utility, letting everyone plug in whenever they want. I've been performing my loudness instead of just inhabiting it. And it's exhausting. And I no longer want to be this way or feel this way. Under the eye, I'm allowing myself to exist loudly with peace and not performance. It's not about my volume or my output. It's about being myself. I'm allowed to be a force of nature and still move slowly. I'm allowed to be visible without being available all the time. Under the nose, I give myself permission to stop performing. I don't have to do to prove that I exist and that I am worthy. I choose to trust myself, my body, and the silence. My impact does not require my exhaustion. Under the mouth, it's safe for me to be successful with ease. I'm building a reservoir of energy for myself. I'm allowed to keep my inner world private and protected, even when sharing my brilliance with the world. I choose to embody ease. Moving to the collarbone. I embody ease peacefully, powerfully, and fully resourced. I lean into my own truth. I choose to allow it to be easy because I know that alignment is what makes my big, vibrant life sustainable. Under the arm, I am exactly where I need to be. I am allowed to rest and be slow and be quiet and be still. My presence is a frequency, and it doesn't require performance to be powerful. Top of the head. I am here. I am resourced. I am taking up every inch of the space I was meant to occupy. And I do it on my own terms. I am safe. I am whole. And I allow it to be easy because I deeply and completely love, honor, and accept myself. Oh, you can gently stop tapping and let your hands rest in your lap. Take a slow, spacious breath in and notice that any shifts or sensations in your shoulder or your chest, just observe. You don't need to judge or evaluate, just be aware. And as you move back into your day, notice where you can choose to just inhabit your space rather than performing it. You don't have to do anything to earn this moment of awareness, of existence, of worthiness, of trust. You are already here. Thank you so much for sharing time and space with me today. It was such a gift. I'm so honored. And I will be back next Tuesday with a brand new episode of Live with Heather Vickery. You are invited to join me. I said next Tuesday, next Thursday. You're invited to join me on Tuesday for Ask Me Anything office hours. If you want to join the Glimmer Lab or the Spark Collective, which is a weekly group that we host in the Telegram app, where I give you journal in weekly intuitive journal prompts based on human design transits. And we have check ins and accountability. It's an amazing little program. You can find the links to that in my bio. Or if you're curious about subconscious reprogramming, you want to create some shifts and change in your life, or have a human design reading, please reach out. You can send me a DM, you can send me an email, you can find me in the links in my bio. It would be such an honor to support you and connect with you. Again, thank you for being here. My name is Heather Vickery, and I'm here to remind you today and every single day that you are worthy, my love. Choose yourself bravely because you are worthy and you are valuable. And I see you and I honor you. What a gift you are to the world. Thank you so much. I'll talk to you soon.